Hi, I'm Valdero, and I am from Los Angeles and Salt Lake City, Utah.
So, Val, you had a real bad date.
Who hasn't?
Did you end up paying for the bill?
Yes.
That's not a good
Spirit,
start.
spiritually, financially, mentally, and emotionally, I paid for that bill.
Did you give him or her a kiss?
Absolutely not.
And how long did the date actually last?
The date was an all-day affair that went into the wee hours of the night and ended up with me walking out of the pitch black Redwood Forest.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a lot to take in. So let me get a second to process that while you take us back to the beginning. How did you meet this person?
This starts with an acquaintance that I know from drug policy reform, just advocating for simple, sensible drug policies based on science and research. And I didn't even know it was a date until it ended very badly. So, this guy I thought was my friend, we were planning on going to a Halloween party at his brother's house in the Redwood Forest. This guy also happened to be a dealer of some really high quality MDMA.
So for the people who don't know what that is, what can you explain what that is?
It's like the purest form of ecstasy. It's a street drug that I honestly think shouldn't be legal, maybe pharmaceutically regulated once a season to every single American on this planet, but some people can abuse it, right? So, anyways, it's an illegal drug, and this is way past the statute of limitations, just so that everybody knows.
So he's this drug dealer. You guys are going to this Halloween party. Are there costumes involved at this point?
There's costumes involved. He's dressed like a gypsy. I am dressed like a gypsy because I don't have anything else but a hodgepodge of clothes to throw on. So, and look, I'm just gonna preference this too. This dude was old as fuck. So there was no consideration in my mind that this was a date. It was just like, hey, this is my friend that deals MDMA, and I'm gonna take accountability here. I got myself in a sticky situation. So he gives me, a couple days prior to this date, he gives me a gram of MDMA and is just like, hey, I wanted to try this product and see if you know anyone who might like it. And so I'm like, okay. So I try it and I'm just like, wow, this is fantastic. And at the time, I'm working on a pot farm in Sonoma County with some people I just barely met a couple months ago at my friend's wedding. So I'm in a situation completely foreign, out of my element. An old friend from my past reaches out, and I offer the pot farmers that I'm working slash living with some MDMA. They agree it's the most fantastic batch they've ever had, and they ask if I'll get an ounce for them. And I've never dealt with that amount of powder before. And so then they asked me to get a couple ounces for them. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm nervous. To be honest, at this point, I'm uncomfortable, but I said I would do it.
No, I can understand why you're uncomfortable because that amount might come with a sentence for, if you get caught.
A sentence, a death threat, a loss of work, bad blood between me and the farmers. Like, there was more writing on this than my 22-year-old brain could process. I'm just like, shit, I said I would do it. I'm a woman of my words, so I'm gonna fucking do it. So I arranged for this past the statute of limitations drug deal to happen. And this guy asked me, the dealer asked me to go to his brother's party. And I, at the time, wanted to go see Skrillex in downtown San Francisco for this Halloween bash. But because I was doing that deal, I wanted to make sure that the product was satisfying to the customer. And I committed to go to the Halloween party with this guy so that I could be there with him and get live feedback from them. So I take a 2 hour journey deep into the Redwood Forest to go to this like 60-year-old hillbilly pot farmer Halloween party. Not where I want to be when I'm 22, but just trying to make the best time of it, meeting all these people, meeting his brother. The first red flag of the night, he's got another brother at the party, and that brother's fucking weird. And as soon as he sees that brother, he gets fucking weird. And I don't know what happened in their past, but it was really uncomfortable to be in the crosshairs of that weird fucking energy. And I was like, bro, that's your brother. He's like, you don't understand. And I was like, oh.
Is everyone like 60 years old there, or are you the youngest person there?
I am the youngest person there by 30 years. And I'll give them all the benefit of the doubt to say 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70-year-olds are at this party. I'm definitively by decades the youngest person here.
Him and his brother have something going on in
Yeah.
their past. What happens from there?
Well, what happens there is that we're all in the same room. He's complaining about his brother. And then he turns to me and he's like, come on, let's go. My other brother arranged a shack for us to stay in. And I was like, oh no, no essence or fiber in my being can go in that shack with you. I know exactly what you're thinking. And I am just like, oh my God, God, please, what do I do right now? And I just blurt out of my mouth, I was like, did you think I came here to fuck you? And he was like, you didn't? I was like, absolutely not. And he got so pissed. He was like, this is so fucked up. I gave you such a good deal, bloody blah. I was like, this is like everything the DARE program warned me about. This is awful. I am now in a dangerous situation in the middle of a forest, and I don't even want to be here anymore. Like, I quickly map out an escape route. And so I start to talk to some people that I had semi-befriended early in the night. So I was just like, hey, where are you guys staying tonight? They're like, oh, we brought our camper trailer. You can come if you want to. I was like, yeah, absolutely. He pulls me aside. He's like, you will not go in there. I was like, where did you come from? Holy shit. Like, I can't believe this. I can't believe I got myself in this situation. So I end up like being super nice to him. Like, you could kill a bee with honey is what the mentality was behind it. I was like, can I get you another drink? Can I get you another drink? I get him so drunk that he passes out snoring on the couch, and I think, this is my chance. So I walk out of his brother's house in the middle of the pitch black forest, and there's no other way out. I literally have to walk. I couldn't see anything. The tree canopies were so high, I looked up and saw a little teeny tiny sliver of stars in between them. There was no turning back. I just knew I had to walk on this road with the sound of creatures all around me and pray to God that I make it. And I literally walked and walked and walked for hours until I felt comfortable running. And I just ran my heart out of that forest for 2 hours until I found a string of mailboxes. And I opened a mailbox. I got the address from it. I texted the pot farmer wife, and she came and picked me up an hour later.
Oh my God.
I can laugh about it now, but at the time it was do or die, Stefan.
First and foremost, the resourcefulness to like think of that, to get out of that. I have so many questions. So, did anyone there know what was going on? Did like other people at the party know like you were in this tight situation?
Someone had to have known. And honestly, I think that creepy brother lurking in the background that he had a problem with knew.
And no one helped you besides the couple that invited you back to the trailer?
Right, because this dude had a really dominant personality. And when he pulled me aside, it was like, don't even go running your mouth kind of vibe. And I'm just like, noted. Got it.
um, did you have any sense of direction when you left the party? Like, did you know which direction to run, or did you just, the moss grows on this side of the tree, that's north?
No, because it was pitch black. But I did know that I was heading in the direction that we drove in. And I took my shoes off so that I could feel under my feet the texture of the dirt road that led us out. And I even stuck my arms out just so I knew when I was getting close to trees on either side.
Looking back in his head, what do you think could have led him to believe that this was a date or you were gonna stay in the cottage? Was it because you guys are in matching gypsy cops costumes and it's a couple's costume? Or, what do you think could have led him to believe that you guys are on a couple's Halloween date?
That is the best question. I am a very friendly person. And honestly, sadly, this is not the first time that guys have gotten the wrong idea. In my experience as a woman, in relation to other women and their stories and experiences with guys, if you're a friendly, semi-decent looking woman, I think it can be easy for guys to get the wrong idea. And how do I say this without sounding pompous? But I feel like he's like, hey, there's this cute girl. We both have these similars in drug policy. She's coming to my brother's house with me. We're matching costumes together. Like, that was all friendly from my perspective. But I can see how that. That's like a lot of assumption to take it to like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes men and women are on these different wavelengths. Like, at the end of the day, I was just trying to be your friend. I just really thought that I could be friends with guys. And I thought that I could be friendly, but one too many guys have gotten that wrong impression in my life. Like, there's always been that friend zone confrontation, and then they just fizzle out and never talk to me again. And I have to like realize you were never my friend at all.
Do you think men and women can be friends?
Absolutely. I feel like there's some awesome, empathetic guys who truly, to me, those kinds of guys are willing to embrace a feminine essence in them. Because when men come off too macho, that's when they get the wrong impression. The dude I went on that date with was like super macho, super overbearing. And there's always that element of ego in the guys that do get the wrong impression, where they just think they like, the only reason women are talking to them is to fuck them, or the only reason women dress sexy is for them, when it's not about that at all.
Was he a dangerous guy? Did he have like a gun or like weapons on him at the time?
No, but he was one of those like Joe Rogan jiu-jitsu kind of guys, so you don't know you don't know what could happen.
After the situation, did he try to contact you?
Yes! The very next day, he calls me. I don't answer. He leaves me a scathing voicemail and a text message that reiterates the same thing, where he says he wants his gypsy hat back and that he'll call the cops on me if I don't give that hat back.
He'll call the cops on you, knowing that his occupation.
His side hustle.
Wait, so who was the person who picked you up?
The pot farmer's wife, who was my friend at the time.
So, the people who you were getting the
Stuff for.
Did they end up getting their ounces?
Oh yeah, and can I tell you the curse of the whole entire deal?
Yeah.
So they go to that Skrillex concert high on so many different drugs that they tell me that MDMA is booty. And I'm like, didn't you tell me? Didn't you tell me you were taking like a list of 5 to 7 other drugs? Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Give it a couple weeks. Just take the MDMA and tell me how you really feel. They made me feel so bad that night. They didn't just say it was booty. They were like, that was a bad deal. I can't believe you would do that. We hooked you up with those K. It wasn't even just my pot farmers either. They wanted the first ounce, but when they said they wanted multiple ounces, they got this whole network of pot farmers in Sonoma County to throw down. So all these boss pot farmers in the Emerald Triangle were buying this MDMA, and they were the ones that were like, that shit's booty. And I'm like, oh my gosh, help me, God. Like, just please help me. This is the worst feeling I've ever had in my life. But then they take it a couple weeks later and they're like, actually, it's the best MDMA I've ever had.
Reputation for you restored.
Kind of not really, though, because that put a bad taste when stuff like that happens. Like, this isn't just water under the bridge. This is kind of like an ick that is there that changes your impression of somebody in a way that you cannot forget. And so, like, in a way that you always kind of have to look over your back. You know, when you first meet people and there's no reason to really have guile. You're just open, you're honest, you're loving, but then some shit happens and it's just kind of like, not the same.
So this is the point where I will guess where this happened, and we had discussed prior to doing this that you met the person in real life because that's how you met him. Wasn't on any dating apps or anything like that. So
The old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way, perfect. Final words, final advice for anyone who is in a similar situation as you.
You don't have to date. You really don't. You should really take that energy and harness it in yourself, your health, and your creativity. But if you find that you need a companion, then keep your heart open and keep your standards high and never settle for less. And if you find yourself middlemanning a large MDMA deal, just don't.